My name is Emma. I am 28 years old, and I live in a quiet neighborhood in Chicago called Lincoln Park. It's a peaceful place with tall trees, small shops, and friendly neighbors. Many people say I have a good life. I have a husband, a nice apartment, and a stable job at a bookstore. But deep inside, I am not happy. Every day, I wake up with a heavy heart. 1 year ago, I made a big mistake. I married a man named Leo. He is 32 years old. Leo is a good man. He is kind, gentle, and always smiles. But I do not love him. I married him not because of love, but because I was angry and sad. I wanted to forget my ex-boyfriend Alex, who broke my heart. I wanted to move on quickly, so I said yes when Leo asked me to marry him. At that time, I thought marriage would help me feel better. I believed that maybe love would come later, but love never came. And now, I am the one who is hurting. Leo does everything to make me happy. He brings me flowers on Fridays. He cooks dinner when I feel tired. He writes small notes and puts them in my lunch bag. He calls me my sunshine and always kisses my forehead. Many women would feel lucky to have a man like him. But I feel sad because I cannot love him back. One night we were sitting on the balcony. The stars were bright and the air was warm. Leo looked at me and said, "Emma, I know you don't love me yet, but I believe you will. I will wait. My love is strong enough for both of us." His words made me want to cry. He was so full of hope, but I had no hope inside me. I felt like I was lying every day. I smiled when I didn't want to. I said thank you when I felt nothing. I was living a life that didn't belong to me. My mother once told me, "Emma, love can grow with time. Marriage is not always about strong feelings. It is about kindness, respect, and patience." I tried to believe her. I tried to be patient. But every day, I felt more and more like a stranger in my own life. One Friday evening, Leo made a special dinner for me. He cooked my favorite dish, chicken pasta with garlic bread. He lit candles, played soft music, and even wore the blue shirt I liked. He said, "This is for you, Emma. Emma, you are my everything." I looked at him, smiled a little, and said, "Thank you." But inside, I felt empty. I could not enjoy the food. I could not enjoy the music. I felt like I was acting in a play, not living a real life. After dinner, Leo took my hand and said, "Let's go for a walk." We walked to the small park near our apartment. There, under the old oak tree, Leo had proposed to me 1 year ago. He smiled and said, "Remember this place? I told you I would love you forever." I looked at the tree, then at him. I wanted to scream, "I don't love you, Leo!" But I stayed quiet. I didn't want to hurt him. He looked so happy, so full of love, and I felt like a terrible person. That night, I couldn't sleep. I stared at the ceiling for hours. I thought about my life, my choices, and my heart, I asked myself, will I ever feel happy again? The next morning, my best friend Nina called me. She said, "Emma, your voice sounds tired. Are you okay?" I wanted to say yes, but I couldn't lie, so I told her the truth. "I don't love Leo," I said softly. "I married him because I wanted to forget someone else. But I feel trapped now. I feel sad every day." Nina was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Maybe you need some space. Maybe time apart will help you understand your heart better." I shook my head. "It's not time, Nina. My heart just doesn't feel anything for him." Later that day, I sat with Leo on the sofa. I tried to speak. "Leo," I said, "I need to talk to you." But before I could say more, he stopped me. "I know what you're going to say," he said quickly. "Please don't give up on us yet, Emma. I still believe we can make this work." His eyes were full of hope again, and I felt worse. I didn't want to destroy his hope, but I knew I couldn't give him what he needed. I felt tired, like I was carrying a heavy bag every day. One Sunday, Leo asked me something that shocked me. "Emma," he said, "do you want to have a baby? I think it will bring us closer." I froze. I didn't know what to say. The idea of having a child with someone I didn't love scared me. I looked down at my hands and said quietly, "I'm not ready, Leo." He nodded slowly. He looked hurt, but he didn't push me. That made me feel even worse. He was always gentle, always kind, and I was always silent, always distant. That night, I wrote in my journal, "I feel like I'm drowning in this marriage. Leo is a good man, but I can't be the wife he deserves." I also wrote, "Sometimes I want to leave, but I'm scared. What will people think? Will they say I am selfish? Will they say I didn't try hard enough?" One evening, I packed a small bag. I planned to leave. I looked at Leo while he was sleeping. He looked peaceful. He looked happy. I stood by the door, holding my bag, but I couldn't do it. I put the bag down and sat on the floor. I cried quietly. The next morning, Leo made coffee for me. He kissed my cheek and said, "Good morning, my love. I believe in us." His words broke my heart again. I wanted to scream, "Stop hoping!" But I stayed quiet again. I walked to the window and looked at the street. A dog was running, kids were laughing, and the sun was shining. The world was moving, but inside I felt stuck. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to fix my life. I only knew one thing. I couldn't live like this forever. Before I share the rest of my story, I want to ask you something. Where are you listening from? It gives me strength to know someone is hearing my words, someone who understands. Please tell me in the comments. I would really love to know. The days passed slowly. I woke up every morning, made breakfast, went to work at the bookstore, came home, and smiled for Leo. But inside, I was tired. I was tired of pretending. One Saturday, Leo came home early with 2 movie tickets in his hand. He said, "Emma, let's go out tonight. Just you and me. I want to see you smile again." I nodded and said, "Okay." But I didn't want to go. I just didn't want to say no. That evening, I wore a nice dress and put on lipstick. I looked happy, but I didn't feel happy. At the theater, Leo held my hand. He laughed at the funny scenes. He looked at me often, hoping to see joy on my face. I tried to smile, but my smile didn't feel real. After the movie, he said, "That was fun, right?" Said, "Yes, it was nice." But deep inside, I felt cold. When we reached home, Leo made tea for both of us. We sat on the couch, and he put his arm around me. He whispered, "I missed you, Emma." I looked away. I didn't answer. I felt bad. I knew I was hurting him every day, not with words, but with silence. The next morning, I went to see my friend Nina. We sat at a cafe near the lake. The sky was cloudy and the wind was cold. Nina looked at me with worried eyes. "Emma, you don't look well," she said. "You look tired." I took a deep breath and told her everything again. "Nina, I feel like I'm in a box with no door. I want to leave, but I'm scared. Leo is a good man. Everyone will hate me if I hurt him." Nina took my hand and said, "No one can live your life for you. If you are not happy, you must be honest. Leo deserves the truth, and so do you." Her words touched me, but they didn't take away the fear. What if I hurt Leo too much? What if I regret leaving? That night, I sat by the window and looked outside. The street was quiet. Lights from other homes were glowing. I wondered if people in those homes were happy. Did they also pretend like me? Leo came and sat beside me. He looked at me with gentle eyes and said, "Emma, you've been so quiet lately. I feel like I'm losing you." I wanted to tell him the truth, but I couldn't. I looked at him and said, "I'm just tired. Work has been busy." He didn't say anything. He just nodded. I could see the sadness in his eyes. The next week, Leo planned a short trip. He said, "Let's go to Lake Geneva for the weekend. Just you and me. Maybe the fresh air will help." I didn't want to go, but I said yes again. I didn't want to hurt him. We drove for 2 hours. The lake was calm, the trees were green, and the sky was blue. It was beautiful, but I felt nothing inside. Leo booked a small hotel by the water. In the evening, we walked along the shore. He took pictures and laughed. He held my hand and said, "This is nice, right?" I didn't know what to say. My heart was silent. I felt like I was walking in a dream that wasn't mine. That night in the hotel, Leo gave me a small box. I opened it and saw a necklace with a tiny heart. He said, "This is for you. My heart is yours." I looked at the necklace and felt tears in my eyes. Not because I was happy, but because I knew I didn't deserve his love. "Thank you," I said, my voice low. Later, when he fell asleep, I sat on the floor near the bed. I didn't want to cry out loud. I just sat there, thinking. I thought about the day we met. I remembered how kind Leo was to me when Alex left. He helped me, listened to me, and made me smile again. But I never felt love for him. I married Leo because I was broken. I didn't think clearly. I thought being with someone nice was better than being alone. But now I see, it is worse to live without love. When we came back to Chicago, I started writing letters to myself. I didn't show them to anyone. I just wrote what I felt. One letter said, "Emma, you are not a bad person. You made a mistake, but you didn't do it with hate. You wanted to feel better, but now you must be brave. You must find your truth." Another letter said, "Leo is not your enemy. He is a good man, but he is not your home. You cannot give him what he needs." Writing helped me understand myself. It helped me see my own pain clearly. A few days later, Nina called me and said, "Emma, you sound stronger." I said, "I'm thinking about telling Leo everything. He deserves the truth." She said, "I'm proud of you." That evening, I made tea and asked Leo to sit with me. My hands were shaking. "I need to tell you something," I said. He looked at me and said, "Okay." I took a deep breath. "Leo, I care about you. You are a good man, but I don't love you. I never did. I married you because I was hurting. I thought love would come later, but it didn't." Leo was quiet. He didn't move. His face was calm, but his eyes were wet. He said softly, "I knew, Emma. I saw it in your eyes. I just didn't want to believe it." Tears rolled down my cheeks. "I'm so sorry," I said. "I never wanted to hurt you." Leo nodded. "I love you, Emma. I really do. But I can't be the only one trying. If your heart isn't here, I can't hold you back." His words broke me. He was still kind. Even when I was honest, even when I gave him pain, he stayed kind. We sat in silence for a long time. No shouting, no blame, just sadness. Real, quiet sadness. That night, I slept on the couch. I looked at the wall and whispered, "I told the truth. I finally told the truth." I didn't know what would happen next. I didn't know if I would leave soon or if we would talk more. But I felt lighter. For the first time in months, I felt like I was breathing. The next few days were quiet. Leo and I still lived in the same apartment, but we didn't talk much. We both needed space to think. I slept in the small guest room. He slept alone in our bedroom. In the mornings, Leo still made coffee. He still left a cup on the kitchen table for me. But now, there were no notes, no smiles, just silence. I went to work and tried to stay busy. I helped customers at the bookstore. I arranged books, cleaned shelves, and answered questions. but my heart was not in the work. My mind was always thinking about what would happen next. One afternoon, Nina came to see me at the shop. She gave me a hug and said, "How are you doing?" "I'm okay," I said. "It's hard, but I feel more honest now." Nina smiled. "That's a good start. What will you do next?" "I think I need to leave," I said quietly. "It's time." That evening, I told Leo I wanted to move out. He didn't look surprised. He asked, "Do you have a place to go?" "Yes," I said. Nina offered me her guest room for now. Leo nodded. He was quiet for a moment. Then he said, "Emma, I'm not angry. I'm just sad. But maybe this is the right thing." I felt tears in my eyes. "I never wanted to break your heart," I said. He gave a small smile. "You didn't break my heart, Emma. I gave it to you freely. Even if you couldn't keep it, I don't regret loving you." His words were kind, but they made my heart ache. The next morning, I packed my clothes and a few books. I didn't take much. The apartment felt heavy with memories, even though we had only lived there for 1 year. I looked at the small things: his coffee mug, our wedding photo, the blanket we used while watching movies. Leo helped me carry my bag to the door. He said, "If you ever need anything, call me." I nodded. "Thank you for everything, Leo. You were always good to me." He looked at me one last time and said, "Take care, Emma." Then I walked out of the apartment. Nina was waiting in her car. She smiled and opened the door. "Let's go," she said. I sat beside her and we drove away. I didn't look back. At Nina's apartment, I sat in the small guest room and cried. Not because I missed Leo, but because I felt so many things: guilt, sadness, fear, and also a little hope. For the first time, I had made a choice for myself. I had said the truth. I had taken a step forward. The days passed slowly. I stayed at Nina's place for a few weeks. I helped her with cooking, cleaned the dishes, and sometimes watched movies with her. She never pushed me to talk, but she was always there when I needed to cry. I started going for long walks by the lake. I watched people walking their dogs, riding bikes, and drinking coffee on benches. I liked watching life go on. It helped me feel calm. One day, I walked into a small cafe and saw a flyer for a creative writing class at the community center. Something inside me said, "Try this." So I signed up. The class was small, just 8 people. We wrote stories and read them out loud. At first I was shy, but slowly I started to enjoy it. I wrote about my feelings, my past, and my hopes. One evening after class, I wrote something in my notebook. I lost love before I even found it, but now I am finding myself. That sentence made me smile. A few weeks later, I got a message from Leo. He wrote, "Hi, Emma. I just wanted to say I hope you're doing well. I'm taking some time for myself too. I've joined a cooking class. It helps me stay busy. No pressure to reply. Just wanted you to know I'm okay. I stared at the message for a while. Then I replied, Hi, Leo. Thank you for your message. I'm glad you're doing okay. I'm in a writing class now. It's helping me too. Wishing you peace and happiness. We didn't talk again after that, but it felt good to say goodbye in a kind way. Months passed. I found a small studio apartment near the bookstore. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. I painted the walls light yellow. I put flowers in the window. I hung a picture of the lake. Every morning, I made my own coffee. I sat at the window and watched the world outside. I felt lonely sometimes, yes, but I also felt free. I still thought about Leo. I hoped he would find someone who truly loved him. He deserved that. He gave love with an open heart. I hoped someone would do the same for him. One day, while cleaning my drawer, I found the heart necklace Leo gave me at the lake. I looked at it for a long time. Then I placed it in a small box and wrote a note. Thank you for your kindness. I couldn't wear it, but I will never forget it. I left the box at Nina's place. She said she would return it to Leo for me. As the seasons changed, I changed too. I began to smile more. I made new friends in my writing class. I laughed again. I started to feel like me. One night, I looked in the mirror. I saw a woman with tired eyes but a soft smile. A woman who had been lost but was now walking her own path. I whispered to myself, it's not a perfect story, but it's mine. I am still learning, still growing. I don't know what the future holds, but I know one thing now. Never marry for the wrong reason. Never silence your heart. If someone out there feels like me, I want to say, you are not alone. It's okay to make mistakes. It's okay to start again. Be honest. Be brave. Your heart knows the truth. Thank you for listening to my story. It's not full of smiles and happy endings, but it's real. And sometimes being real is the bravest thing we can be. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.